How are our plaintiffs feeling the day after filing?
I feel great. I feel
Good.
great. I feel so empowered, and a lot of people like reach out with like beautiful words of encouragement and admiration, and like, you know, it's really nice to be a part of this process and to just take a step towards like what I believe is the right thing to do. So it feels great, and people
Great.
see it. So I'm very, very happy with how it was received. So I am excited. I am excited for what's next. And thank you all for all the work that
Thank
each
you.
of you did to make this happen.
You know, I was fighting for healthcare for a long time, even back in 2013 when I first had lung cancer, and I was out there in the freezing cold, and I was still going through chemotherapy and radiation, and it looks like finally, things are going to change now for real this time, transgender people deserve health care, and I want, transgender people to be safe and when they go to the doctor. I don't want them to have to be like me, worry they might, try to kill you at the doctor's office or not care for you. It's dangerous, to go to the doctor when, what about their Hippocratic oath to do no harm? What, that goes out the window? Because of their religion, or because Trump says so, or he, come on.
I'm with you.
Tanya, you started preaching on Saturday morning.
Yes, I'm just, I want, and I thank you very much for adding me to this lawsuit, because it's time. And I'm glad, that, some people are happy that, that HRC is standing up against the Trump administration. Who do they think they are?
It's really your lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's your lawsuit and Cecilia's lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's your name on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Of that V. We are just, sort of partners with, collaborators with, and
Yes.
supporters of, your fight. And I know we are thrilled to just be able to utilize, our skills as lawyers. It's the
Yes.
greatest thing that we can do is utilize that for to move the needle for people. And so it's your fight, and it's the fight that I know both of you have been leading in New York and across the country with so many other LGBTQ folks, trans women specifically. And so we are the really blessed ones here to be able, law school is not I wouldn't say it's the greatest experience, but it's difficult, it's tough. And the practice is tough and rigorous. And then when you get to take all of that training and all of that work and really bring it to bear in an effort like this, the words can't describe how fulfilling that is.
Yeah, thank you for using your privilege to help us get healthcare, because we need help. We need decent healthcare. It's terrible out there.
I also think that it's very, it's very meaningful that, Tanya is a Black trans woman, and that I am an immigrant, which, adds an extra, an extra special taste to these and to the fight that we are taking on, because I believe it's not just about me being a trans person, it's about all the things that make me Cecilia, and being an immigrant is a big part of that. So I think it's very meaningful that that is Tanya and I, and the fact that Tanya is a veteran, and so it involves many things. Although the 2020 rule would really messed up a lot of different communities, the different people, healthcare and life in general. For me, it's very meaningful that it's me and her who are the plaintiffs. So
yes.
You know,
Go on.
go ahead, Alfonso.
No, go
I was
on.
just going to actually ask you to talk a little bit about you know, part of I think the strength of this effort is that both you and I have worked with Tanya and Cecilia before, and you know, I know having really good relationships of, you know, trust and integrity has been really essential to, you know, this effort. So I wondered if you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So Tanya and Cecilia, I've known you two for a very long time. We have fought a lot of battles in New York to make sure that transgender people, gender nonconforming people, non-binary people are respected under the law. And as Jason mentioned, you know, the law has been used to manipulate, the law has been manipulated, I should say, to the disadvantage of the marginalized for such a long time. You know, decades and decades ago, the law was interpreted to make it so that I was not a full person under the Constitution. The law was interpreted in such a way that we were considered criminals under the Constitution and under statutes. So as we use our skills to advance this movement forward, it is such a pleasure to work with two people who I've had a great working relationship, deeply passionate about the work, and also appreciate that this fight that you are engaged in is not just a fight for yourselves, right? You have been advocating for change on behalf of others for a very long time. And that is something that is very important for people to appreciate. As we think about advocacy, we have to think about others, and your fight, your serving as plaintiffs in this lawsuit will change the landscape for hundreds of thousands of other people who have been, under the Trump administration, would be denied healthcare, would be discriminated against in healthcare facilities and doctors' offices. And so just being able to work with both of you and knowing that you have the mettle and the tenacity and the empathy to move through this process is really rewarding. And know we just started yesterday, and it's going to be a battle ahead of us, but
Yes.
it's nice to know that we have two really fantastic advocates and human beings that are with us on this journey ahead.
Well, the feeling is, you know, fully reciprocate to you and Jason and the folks from Baker who are taking this great part in this process. You know, I always you know, as a trans woman, you know, I always understood that I wouldn't have, you know, the same platforms that that cisgender people may have, but you know, I have learned that a lot of people like you, Alfonso, and like Jason, and like the folks from the law firm can really make space for me to share whatever platforms you have. And I think that, you know, talks a lot about like, you know, solidarity and kind of like really understanding a community, like the community, and like using like what Tanya was saying, using whatever you have in your plate to serve my needs is such a beautiful thing. And like, you know, in terms of like, you know, for me, when we work in New York State, you know, having access to Jason or Alfonso was always something that gave me a lot of peace of mind, right? Because I knew that, you know, someone would have my back. And this is not different, you know, having HRC, you know, and people who do this professionally, like the lawyers, it gives me so much peace of mind, and it makes me feel that I'm gonna be cared for and that I'm gonna be protected, you know. So I'm not afraid of anybody because, you know, I've been 48 years in my life, you know, going through all kind of things. So being afraid is something that doesn't happen anymore to me, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to feel protected, or doesn't mean that I don't want to feel cared for. And in this specific instance, like while suing the Trump administration, it makes so such a great difference for me to know that someone is on my side and someone is gonna care for me. And for that, I'm very grateful to all of you.
And you, Tanya, you were the first person I reached out to. And I just asked, would you talk about healthcare discrimination? And boy, I mean, you were like, I got records, I got documents, give me a minute, I got pictures. And I just wonder if you could talk to everyone, but really to Ted and Katie about how you felt so comfortable, like so quickly, really opening up and sharing, you know, all of what you had experienced, because that really is the reason we were able to have a really strong complaint. So I wonder if you could talk about that from your perspective.
I believe that, you know, silence equals death, and that, you know, talking about our trauma kind of helps us to move forward, because you're like thinking about it, talking about it for a little while. And I believe it helps you to, you know, to live in the moment and be in the moment instead of just daydreaming about it and then thinking of other crazy thoughts, you know. And I had been talking about it quite a bit in the past. Nobody was really listening, but I had, you know, a few people at Audre Lorde Project. Audre Lorde Project. They helped me put together a letter to send to this hospital, you know, after I'd been treated so bad, you know, and I'd been treated bad for so long in healthcare, you know, with the intersections of being Black, being trans, being a woman, and being HIV positive. With all those intersections, you know, and a veteran, and you know, I've had to talk about this quite often, and I talked about it with my friends, you know, at first, and you know, I said, you know, I'm going to fight. I'm going to stand up and fight, because I know they want you to die or kill yourself. You know, they want you to go into depression and just go away. Then they'll talk about how you love dying, like Zora Neale Hurston says, kind of like that. And anyway, you know, it's been a struggle. I've been struggling all my life since I was in kindergarten. You know, struggling to exist in a hostile world, who doesn't like queer people, trans people, and who weaponize religion. They actually weaponized religion to deny me healthcare. And I think that that's very dangerous. It's dangerous for them and it's dangerous for me, because they could lose their life telling someone they're not going to care for them. I could lose my life from them telling me they're not going to take care of me. So, you know, it goes both ways, the danger. You know, I feel that, you know, I've always been skeptical of religions, and when you weaponize it, it makes me stronger, and it makes me want to fight harder. You know, I'm not afraid of a cross or any other type of religious symbol. You know, and I don't think that you should use it to deny me my civil and human rights.
Powerfully said, powerfully said.
That has been something that I never understood, because, like, you know, I'm an atheist, but I am the strongest supporter of people with specific faiths. Whatever your faith it is, I support you, and I want you to be able to live and express your faith and be happy. If that faith is helping you through life, I want you to fully exercise your right, you know, to have a faith and to support yourself with that faith. And I always found out that, you know, those people who I support them and their faith never support me back. And that is something that I can't understand, how, like, you know, faith that talks about loving and things like that cannot have the same reciprocity to my support, though. It's something that it really, really it takes a lot of time in my head thinking about that. But I also, you know, wanted to say, like, you know, I personally think, like, you know, as a trans person, you know, as an immigrant and as a woman, I always think, like, people like the president and the whole Trump administration and its group of heartless supporters always saw us as like low-hanging fruit, right? Who can we attack? Oh, trans people, that's the easiest, right? And I am just so happy to have this feeling that, you know, we have people on our side that is going to support us, and that we have the willpower to stand up to anybody, you know, and that gives me such a sense of relief, you know, and that, you know, because for many years it was like, you know, we were done wrong without any resistance because we didn't have the power to fight back. So being able to stand up and say like, no, you can't do this to me.
Right.
You can't do this, and you will not do this to me. And have, you know, people on my side to help me through that process. It's like super refreshing, and I love this moment. I love this moment for everything that that implicates, like, you know, the fact that we are not standing down and we are putting a fight. So super exciting times.
You know what? I like this. You know, there's a quote by James Baldwin that I like, and it says, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced."
Yeah.
James Baldwin. So that's where I'm coming from.
Alfonso, a last word for us?
Thank you both. Thank you both for everything that you've done and that you continue to do in advancing the rights of LGBTQ people. It is not easy to be a plaintiff in a lawsuit because you are laying bare your life, your past, your history for everyone to see. But I want to make sure that you fully appreciate that we are here to drive this train forward. We're here to provide you with all of the support that you need. And the fight that we are engaged in, as I said before, is a fight for hundreds of thousands of people that you may never meet. And just keep that in mind as we fight the struggle to make sure that LGBTQ people can be treated equally and fairly under the law.
This is one step in the direction towards equality.
Yes.
You know, we need total equality for the LGBT community, equity and equality.
Yes.
Total. And this is another huge step in that direction.
Absolutely.
And with that,
yes.
we'll give you back the rest of your Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
Ted, Katie, thank you. Thanks so much.
Our pleasure. Thank you for
the
including
entire
us.
team.
Thank you.
Really beautiful
Yeah.
partnership. Tanya, Cecilia, we love you.
Thank you.
Love
you too, Jason.
As always, Alfonso,
Everybody.
you're the best.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.